Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. All right, I've got another op-ed that I want to share here with you today, and it's funny because I did the original op-ed from Ammo Land that John Crump wrote about the situation going on with the AutoKeyCard case with Matt Hoover and how terrible that situation is. And I had Jeff Knox reach out to me, and apparently some more information kind of came down the pipeline, and he wrote a different op-ed, and I want to read that one here for you today because it does provide a little bit more insight as to possibly, you know, how both Hoover and Irvin could possibly, you know, get some justice in this particular situation. So we're going to get into this one. Before I get started, I would like to thank our friends at Sonoran Desert Institute for supporting our videos. If you are wanting to start a career in gunsmithing or anything in the firearms realm, look no further. They are a great group of people in terms of, you know, their programs that they offer, a great distance learning setup for all of your higher education needs in the world of gunsmithing, reloading. They've got some drone programs. Their instructors are awesome. The curriculum is awesome. There's lots of different ways to pay in terms of financial aid and things. So if you're a veteran, you know, maybe put that GI Bill to work for you. So there's lots of things you can do, but check them out. Sonoran Desert Institute, SDI. Tell them we sent you, and a big thanks to them for supporting our efforts here on the channel. All right. AutoKeyCard case ruling is a travesty of justice. All right. This was April 25th, written by Mr. Jeff Knox. And I apologize that it's taken me a little longer to get over to this particular op-ed. I've got quite the list of things to read and go over. So I hope you'll, you know, bear with me. I'm only one dude. Okay. So I'm trying to work as fast as I can here. All right. On Friday, April 21st, 2023, Christopher Justin Irving and Matthew Hoover were found guilty on charges related to the selling of illegal machine guns based on Irvin's sales of credit card-sized pieces of 18-gauge stainless steel sheet with etchings of lightning link parts laser engraved on the front. Hoover advertised the cards on his YouTube channel called CRS Firearms. A lightning link is a two-piece device that is supposed to adapt a semi-auto AR-15 firearm to, the page got cut off there on the bottom. All right, I am going to, you'll see the, you can read the rest there on the page. I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize that my page got cut off. I'm just going to go here to the, let me make sure nothing else got cut off here. Okay, sorry about that. I'll fix that. That's right. Detailed drawings of lightning links with dimensions along with illustrated instructions on how to make and install them have been available on the internet for years and are still available. These instructions include precise measurements, material requirements, and instructions on forming and fitting the devices. And like any other information out there, from instructions on how to manufacture bombs or poisons, to gun designs, to guides on how to pick up chicks in bars, these instructions are protected by the guarantees of the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Knowledge and the sharing of that knowledge may not be regulated by the government. It all falls under the umbrella of free speech. Sorry about that page getting cut off, y'all. At best, the AutoKeyCard was a niche novelty, and at worst, it was a bit of a scam taking advantage of some gullible consumers. If I tell you that the X-ray glasses I sell are just a novelty and you buy them, you probably won't really be able to see through clothing. Still, you buy them because you're convinced that you'll see through the clothing. Am I guilty of selling invasive surveillance gear or just clever marketing? That criminal charges were brought against Irvin in the first place is a travesty. The fact that he has been held in custody without bail for 2 years is an absolute outrage, especially when they're letting people go, like crooked DAs in leftist states are letting violent criminals go, some of them on their third, fourth, even fifth offense. I digress. Hoover's subsequent arrest for advertising the products is inconsolable. But for them to be prosecuted and convicted, this is nothing less than criminal abuse of the justice system. But it gets worse. I probably mispronounced that word. I apologize. Several purchasers of the cards testified that, though they had not attempted to cut them out, they admitted that they believed they could use the cards to make functional lightning links. One admitted to trying it, but when he couldn't get the device to work, he gave up and threw it away. All of these witnesses were testifying under threat of prosecution or had been granted immunity in exchange for their testimony. I want to meet these fellows and introduce them to my amazing X-ray glasses. The really astounding testimony came from the BATFE expert, though. He initially claimed that he was able to cut functional lightning links from the cards and had a video to prove it. But on cross-examination by Hoover's attorney, Matt LaRosiere, the expert admitted that when he followed the lines on the cards, he couldn't make the resulting parts fit into any of the ARs he had for testing. And you can be sure that the BATFE has a variety of ARs available. He admitted that he modified the design, ignoring the lines and cutting the parts to different dimensions to get them to fit into the gun. Then he admitted that he was still unable to get the lightning link to actually function, ever, at all. What the ATF claims was a success included 40 minutes of work with a Dremel tool. This was not a functional lightning link at all, but rather a couple of pieces of metal ground on and fiddled with for an indeterminate amount of time and finally crammed into the trigger mechanism of a rifle, causing it to malfunction. The ATF expert went on to admit that the hammer follow malfunction induced by the failed lightning link installation was the exact same malfunction that would result if you simply remove the disconnector and ground off its hook, either of which is much easier than fabricating a lightning link. When he admitted that he tried several different brands of ammunition before finding one with sensitive enough primers to achieve hammer follow, full auto fire for a total of 5 consecutive shots. Upon further questioning, he also admitted that he was only able to achieve this result while using an M16 style bolt carrier. That style of BCG is not the same as the civilian Colt SP1 bolt carrier that lightning links were originally designed to work with. I didn't know that. You learn something every day, don't you? I didn't even know that. And don't have the modifications that were built into the SP1 carrier specifically to protect against hammer follow discharges. He also admitted that this type of hammer follow malfunction is dangerous and could theoretically result in a catastrophic premature detonation which could destroy the gun and injure the shooter. Wow. So the ATF and prosecutors claim that these cards with pictures or something similar to lightning links lightly etched onto them are sold as novelties, which Irvin and Hoover never marketed as gun parts, were actually designed and intended solely for the purpose of converting a semi-auto into a full-auto firearm? That was a question. I'm sorry. I probably read that a little wrong. I apologize. Yet their own experts were unable to create working parts from the AutoKeyCard templates. They admitted that they basically ignored the lines etched on the cards and cut out parts of their own design just to get them to fit into the gun. Even then, they were unable to make a functional machine gun conversion device from the metal of the card. Yet, the jury still came back with a guilty verdict for both men on charges of making and selling illegal machine guns. How is that possible? It boggles the mind to think that even the ATF could seek prosecution in this case. It's further unbelievable that the federal prosecutor, Laura Kofer Taylor, I probably butchered that middle name, I apologize, would pursue these charges. And absolutely beyond comprehension that a jury could listen to that evidence and conclude that both of these men were guilty of any crime. But they did, and now Matt Hoover's wife and child are left alone with no means of support while they wait to find out what's going to happen next. The potential sentence for Hoover is 45 years in prison, while Irvin is facing 110 years, though it would be very unlikely that the court would give the maximum to either. Still, after the absolute clown show of this trial, nothing is beyond possibility. What is very likely is that even if this conviction is reversed and Matt Hoover is completely exonerated, the next time his FFL comes up for renewal, it got cut off again, I'm sorry. I don't know why my printer did that. The ATF will find some pretext to deny it and make the denial a permanent ban, keeping him from being able to return to his business ever again. Sentencing isn't scheduled until the end of July, and both men are to be held in custody at least until then. My fellow Ammo Land News contributor, John Crump, has been following this case from the beginning, and he's created a Give, Send, Go account to benefit Hoover and his family at www.givesendgo.com/free CRS. All funds contributed go directly to Matt Hoover's wife, Erica, and any contributions to help keep them afloat during this lunacy would be greatly appreciated. Prayers and encouragement are also welcome. What's not welcome are any sorts of rants, threats, or calling violence towards any witness, juror, or anyone else involved in the case. Prosecutors have already used such comments on Matt's YouTube channel, CRS Firearms, to claim that Irvin and Hoover are too dangerous to be on the streets. So yell at your keyboard if you must, but keep your incendiary comments on this article and elsewhere to yourself. Those guys don't need the additional burden of being responsible for your anti-ATF rants. Big Brother is watching. Meanwhile, lawyers for Hoover and Irving are working on post-judgment motions for acquittal and planning potential appeals. Hopefully, let's hope they prevail soon. All right. A few of those words got me there. Great part on Jeff Knox on the writing there. And, anytime Jeff sends me an op-ed or an article, I always like to, lend my ear and give as best of a read as I can and kind of, keep y'all informed and in the loop of what's going on. And I do follow Ammo Land for quite a few things. And, of course, John Crump does a great job of putting a few things in my ear from time to time. And, if he thinks it's a noteworthy or newsworthy article or op-ed, he'll always share it with me, and I try to do a read. So I hope y'all like this format, and it gives me a chance to kind of talk about what's going on with this particular situation. So my opinion hasn't really changed a ton since I made the first video when I read John Crump's article about the Matt Hoover case and everything like that. I'll just say that, there are, some legal methods that we're going to go through with the appeals and everything to try to free these guys and hopefully, get some justice in this particular situation. It is a kangaroo court in terms of how this thing was handled. It was a very far-reaching type of case, and it just goes to show that the anti-gunners, in this case the ATF, they will throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. Yeah, some of the charges got dropped, but then again, of course, some of them stuck. So it is a very scary situation where simply, words have violence to them. And that's in their eyes. They look at the mere knowledge of it. I can kind of see both sides of the situation in terms of the way that they, maybe thought it was being marketed or thought that it was, somehow almost like an 80% sear, if you will, that you could just buy and then cut out or something. But even under the ATF's own admission, they said plain and clear that as the lines were drawn and as it was cut out, there was no way that they could make it work. So that tells you right there that it's really just meant to be sold as a novelty, more of a educational material, which the last time I checked, First Amendment gives us the ability to share knowledge. Knowledge is not forbidden, nor is it encouraged for anyone to try to keep someone from obtaining whatever knowledge that they want to have. I mean, your rights are covered under the First Amendment, your freedom of speech, your ability to, share whatever information and educate people on anything you want, so it is a slippery type of situation where, both parties probably had some pretty good arguments overall, but let's just hope that, maybe this thing will get taken care of in court and that these guys will see some justice. And again, I'll put the Give, Send, Go link down there. Make sure if you can pitch in a few bucks to help Erica out, I'm sure that they would greatly appreciate it right now while they're going through this really tough time. And I'll just mention as well that, a lot of you also donated to Matt Hoover's defense as well. And a big thanks to all the folks that have tried to do everything they can to help the Hoover family and everything like that. So, interesting times we're going through. And, these types of situations can set forth a very dangerous precedence that we can't allow to stand. And I think that is the vehicle in which we need to really fight this thing is, we don't want these types of ideas to grow legs because then they're going to come up with every dumb reason that they can to try to hassle someone over the simplest of things. But it's not just hassling. I mean, we're talking criminal penalties. You spend 45 years in jail. I mean, that's definitely not good over something as simple as a dumb drawing, right? Or an internet meme, or whatever it may be, even a basic description. So we can't allow these types of things to stand because it certainly goes against common sense, and I think common sense has to come into play here. And, You know, it would be one thing if the ATF were able to cut the sear out and it worked perfectly, just like it was a carbon copy, you know, ready to go type of template, if you will. But the fact that they ground on it, played with it, and still couldn't get it to work, that says a lot. The fact that it's really just a novelty. It was not meant to be a one-to-one copy of an auto sear. So hopefully decency, you know, will win in this particular situation, and let's hope it does. Thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate y'all watching. Have yourselves a wonderful day. We'll see you soon.